So hi everyone, I'm Wen, and I'm a second year at ITP. And a little bit about me, I came from a graphic designer and advertising background, but I came to ITP and get more interested in like technology, especially in AR VR. So now my research focus is more leaning to like user experience design in AR VR or like emerging technology. And throughout my work, wait a minute. Sorry. Throughout my work, I find like prototyping really interesting, and I just get really interested to like do prototyping. And today I want to share some of the tools I use, and the tool is A-frame. So let's start with this. And for the time scope, I don't think we can like go too deep in A-frame, but I will just share the basics of it, and you can feel free to discuss with me after the workshop or just through emails. And so let's go. So first, what is prototyping? So I really like this quote from a class I took at ITP. It says that a prototyping is a question rendered as an artifact. So for me, prototyping is kind of as an examination for your idea, for your concepts, and to also to prove your idea to your colleagues or your clients. And it's also just a really quick visualization for anything you want to achieve. So in terms of AR VR prototyping, there are some tools or softwares we'll use. So one is Paper, or like A-Frame, Figma, Spark AR, Snap Studio, Unity, WebXR, AR.js. So there are just a lot of tools you can use for prototyping. And today's workshop is based on one of the project I did for one of the ITP class called Handheld, and it's a like tarot reading AR application, and you can scan the QR code. Wait a minute, let me just share the website too, and share the QR code again. You can play with your phone. So basically, it's uh, like a tarot reading application. You can use your phone to like see through all the cards and to gaze it for 5 seconds, and you can pick a card, and it would just tell you your fortune. So it's kind of like this. And if I talk too quick, she's just like stop me and saying like when you're going too quick. So it's all built in A-frame. So one thing I really like about A-frame is also it also work on mobile. So it looks like this, and there are all the major what is called Arcadia, like the major cards, and you can like see through it, and it will just change into the reading. So yeah, that's about it, and just feel free to try it to get your reading today. And yeah, so what is A-Frame and why use this? So A-Frame is a framework to build like virtual reality experience, but now you can also build augmented reality. So A-Frame is based on top of HTML, so it's kind of like it's pretty simple to get started because you can just create a VR experience by adding a HTML file, and it supports most of the assets and the websites for your desktop and mobile. And you can also just check out their website for more information. So it's aframe.io. So yeah, let's start it. So, but before that, is there any questions? Cool. So let's start it. So as I said before, I would use Code Sandbox for today's workshop, but you feel free to use any like platforms you'd like to use, like Visual Studio Code, CodePen, or P5 Web Editor. And for people using Code Sandbox, you can just create a new sandbox and to export the templates by choosing a frame template, and you can just add a frame template here, and that's all. And whoa, so the first thing we're going to do is to just change the script because the version of it is a little bit too old. So I will change it to 1.2.0. Oh, is everyone following me, or do you need time?
I just like objective code sandbox.
Yeah. So yeah, you can use Code Sandbox, or you can also use P5 Web Editor. I think it's the quickest way because we're all ITP students. So you can just add this script. And you can also see from A-Friend's website. So you can add this script to your code, to your HTML file. Cool. And so now we're going to just add some objects to see how it goes. So let's start with this yellow ball, if you can see in the GitHub page. So if you want to create a scene in A-frame, you need to call a scene here. So we'll use something like a-frame, a-scene is pretty much like what we did in like create a div for web development, and also to wrap it. And then we can just put a lot of things into the scene. So now we are going to put a sphere. So sphere means the ball. Yeah, I guess it's ball. And we're going to set the position. So the position is x, y, z. So and the 0, 0, 0 is the location of your phone. So you can set the ball here because you will just stay in the ball and you won't see the outside of it. So you need to see a little bit like a little bit further from you, like maybe in front of you. So I will set it like 0.5, 1, -2, and maybe the radius 0.5. And to add a color for it, so nothing too fancy, but like yellow one, and a sphere. I got a lot of typos here. And save it. That should work. I need to load the sky here. And also, you will see that if you just get into A-frame, you will see the like a really like white background because we don't have a sky yet, so we need to add a sky as well. So it's a-sky color or no color 0, 0, so it's black. So it should work. Yep, so is everyone following me? Why the color is not on here? But anyway, did you guys see the balls on your screen? I hope so. And feel free to drop any question if you have any question. And the ball is like super huge. And if you see any typos on my screen, please just shout it out, saying like you did wrong. And yeah, so we got a ball. And in some of the documentations, you will see something like a entity. So let's just delete this one. You will see something like a entity geometry. Okay, I won't just like torturing you for this, but I will just copy the content I wrote and paste it here. So it will be something like this. And that's because in A-Frame they are using a system called ECS. So ECS is Entity Component System. So the basically is like when the objects, it contains three components. So one is entities, components, and systems. So the entity is kind of like the div we wrote in HTML. So it's kind of like a container to declare that, oh, this is a object here, and the component is the module to tell you like what kind of attributes you can attach to. So you can attach like color, position, rotation, animation in the object. And the system is kind of like for the management. So it's kind of optional, and you won't see it most of the time. So in this workshop, I won't talk too much on ECS system, but you can kind of think of it as Minecraft. So in Minecraft, you will put a lot of things like into the, the craft box. I don't know what is the name of it, but you can, and you will got an ox, you will got a like eggs or like anything you want from the box. And so yeah, so a entity can also work for like creating any kind of object you want to create. So just don't be panicked like me. Like when I see the entity thing on some of the documentation, it's like, what the fuck is this? So now we are going to add a 3D model into the scene. So I prepare a 3D model here. Wait a minute. Let me grab it. And I will post it to the link to the chat. So it's basically a tarot card, and you can feel free to use like the 3D models you want to use. But I just find it really like easy to use the objects I created before. And for people who are a little bit late for this workshop, you can check out this GitHub page for the documentation. And does everyone get the file? Yeah, nice. Cool. So for people using CodeSandbox, you can just upload file into just upload your model here. So I already upload my tar-star.glob. glob is kind of like a newer format for 3D model, and I find it really it's really powerful for performance. And yeah, I just prefer it over like in other kinds of formats. But you feel free to use I think it's OBJ or FBX. You can use there in A-Frame they support two kinds of formats. One is glob and another is FBX or OBJ. OBJ I think is OBJ. So if you want to put like a 3D asset into the scene, you need to let the scene knows that what kind of asset you would put into this. So you need to create a list for it. So let's just remove this giant yellow sphere to create a dash assets. So a dash assets is just to declare like what kind of assets you will put in this thing. To wrap it up, and then we're going to add a assets dash item. So it means that, oh, I will have this item in my list, and I will give it an ID because I just really like to name my things, and it will work for the later. And you will get this source. So it's src and tarot dash star dot glb and to wrap it. Cool. So now you have your tarot card in your scene, and then we're going to use it. So we'll use a entity because just like I said before, an entity can just use for any kinds of objects you want to use. So an entity, and now I'll use gltf dash model. It means that you just tell the entity that you are going to use a model, and the model is the hashtag card because I call it card. And I will also give it ID because I like to give people ID. And I will set it just like what we did for the yellow ball. So I will also set the scale so it won't be too big. I also to set the rotation. And to refresh it. Yep, so if you are following with me, you will see a card in your screen, and it looks really cool. Ooh, where are you? And normally it can move towards your with the cursor, but I don't know, sometimes Codes and Bugs has some like crazy times, so let's forget about it. But yeah, is everyone following with me? I guess. Cool. So now I want to see the other side of the tarot card because it's weird just see the back of the tarot card. You need to see the front. You need to see the front side. So I will do it. I will create an animation to let it turn around. So the animation is actually another attribute for the assets. So I can just add another assets here. Add another attribute here. Call it animation. So I need to set that like what kind of attribute I'm going to animate for this object. So I'm going to uh, rotate it. So I will just do the rotation. So it's rotation. And you need to set it like, so now it's from 0, 0, 0. You need to turn it. I want to turn to the other side. So it's turn the y-axis. So y-axis is this. So you need to turn this y-axis to 180 degree. So it's to 0, 180 to and 0. And also to set the duration. So it will now like turn to the other side in 2 seconds. So because the unit for it is millisecond. And you can also just to add the easing. So easing is kind of like the if you have used like After Effects, there's something like you can easing is out the animation. So it's kind of like that. And I would just use linear. And I don't want it to like loop, so just loop for false. Yeah, yeah, that's all. And save it. And you will see your car just turn around. Yeah. And feel free to just add anything you want to add. Like you can just change the position, change the scale, or maybe just have fun with it. And you can also just check out the property page. So in here you can check out like animation. Okay, my computer. Oh, okay. So there are all the properties you can change. You can use like to, like from, and loop, or like duration, direction, autoplay. Yeah. So just there are a lot of things you can play with, and feel free to explore it. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to create some interactions. So today I'm going to add like a button, and you can just to hover on the button, and the button will turn the color. And when you like just hover out, it will just go back to the original color. So first I'm going to create a I need to create a cursor, because if I want to hover on something, I need to have a cursor first to hover on something. So I need to create a camera, and to wrap it with to wrap the cursor in the camera. So I will write a entity camera loop control. Loop controls means that you will just like use your gesture to control it, and to set the position is 0, 1.60. It's because we're not like start from 0, 0. Our eye level is a little bit higher, so I will start from like 1.6. So it's a entity, and in this I will just wrap another a entity around. So it's the cursor, and we can set the attribute to it. So I will set it to fuse. It's true. Fuse means that is the clicking is decided by gazing at something. Like if you gaze at something for, let's say, 2 seconds, and you will see a click. So you need to set it true, and then fuse timeout. 2000. So it means that if you look at something for over 2 seconds, it will like get you to another. You will just click, or like get you to another places. And I will set the position at 0, 0, -1, because the cursor should be in front of me. Whoa, wait a minute. I wrote something wrong. Yeah. In the geometry, I want to create like a ring. So well, hey buddy. Cool. Geometry equals primitive. So the primitive means the shape you want to use. So I want to use the ring, and you can just to define the radius, the inner radius, and the outer radius. 0.02 radius, outer 0.03, and material color. Wait, color. Wait, cool. So if you follow along with me and you save it and refresh, you will see a cursor. Wait a minute, why my cursor is so big? Ah, yeah, so you can see my cursor here. So yeah, I hope you're following along with me. And now we're going to create a button here. So I'm going to use the A plane. So plane is just a flat surface. So just set the position here to 0 0.4, 1.5, -1, and I want to get an ID, so it's button, and we can give it a width. Feel free to just drop it the position you want to drop. You can set the color, so I will set a strong color here, so maybe like the red, and set a plan here, and want to put some words in the plan. So I want to add a text, and I will add value. It's kind of like if you have any experience in HTML development, they're like it's kind of like input. So you can get some value here and show the card position. So equals negative 0.500. You can just test with. I kind of like tested out several times to see the like my personal like perfect position. So it's just like adjusting like to save the refresh, C, modify, save the refresh and C, and the color should be just white for the better contrast. And the width for text is kind of like the size of it. And to wrap it up, cool. So let's refresh, and so you can see the button here. Cool. So now we have the button, and if we have button, we need to do something with the button. So I will just create a like an href here. So because of Code Sandbox, it doesn't allow me to like link to other websites outside of Code Sandbox, but you can just add a like a href here. So it's like link equals href and like the website you want to go to, and then you can just when you gaze at the button for over 2 seconds, and you will see just jump into another website. Let's not try it because Code Sandbox won't like it. So now we're going to create like a really easy JavaScript interaction here. So let's add a JavaScript file. So I call it site.js, and make sure that you include it in your HTML. Something happens a lot in my file that I forgot to edit here. And so for A-frame, if you want to create a component, so the function is called register component. So you can call like A-frame, and for people using Code Sandbox, it was want to like autocorrect you and don't get tricked by it. And just to register component, and you can set the name of the attribute. So I'm going to just turn the button color to green. So I'll call it turn green. And now you will see some type errors from code sandbox, and just ignore it. So you will have this component, and you need to add some function to it. So it's function, and E means event. So you need to, oh sorry, I forgot to add the thing. Wait a minute, I did it wrong. Need to like wrap it in the bracket. So I need to init first, and to init it with the function. So you will say that this object, I want to put the component on this object when with the add event listener. So it means that like when it will keep listening to like some kind of events, and when this events happens, it will just trigger the interaction. So the one I will use is mouse enter. So it means that when your mouse enter the object, it will trigger something, and we will get a function. So just like set the attribute. So it's really simple. It's called set attribute, and color to green. So it's 00 ff 00. And yeah, it should work. And if you want to test it with code sandbox, you can just close this error to just ignore it, and to add the turn green on the objects you want to add. So maybe it's the card. So that's not the card, the button. So let's add it here. So it's turn green. And to ignore it, I'm not sure if I can move my I'm not sure why can I move my controller here, but like people are playing with it. You can feel free to test it out, and I hope it works. Does it work for you? I hope so. Okay, that thing just wanted to try it. I don't know why. Ah, let me try my code here. I think it will work. So I have code in Visual Studio Code, and so you can see like when the cursor is on the button, it will turn green. And now we're going to create this, like when it's hover out, it will turn back to red. So it's pretty simple. So we will just copy this and to call this thing turn red, and change the, because at first we use mouse enter, so that when the mouse enter the button, it would do something. And now we're going to use mouse out, no, not mouse out, mouse leave to like represent that when the mouse is out of the button. So it's called mouse leave. And it's FF0000, so it's red. And to save it, and you will get the result. No, you won't get a result because I forgot to add the components into my entity. So I should add a turn red and to ignore it and to try it out. And you will see it. Yeah, I hope this works for you. And for the last thing, oh, I guess I talk a little bit faster than I thought. So yeah, but I also have the last thing for this. So you can create like a sorry, in this example, I create another interaction. When you when you hover on the button, the car will turn. So what I did is I will get this card. So I will create a variable called star, and to use document dot get element ID. So yeah, you can see like why I did ID previously. So it's star. Yeah, I call you star here. Or I call it card. I call you card. So it's card. Wait a minute. Yeah, let's just change it to star. No, I call you star. No. What am I doing? Cool. So it's star. And let's create another A-frame register. A-frame.register component. And I will call it oh no, I don't need to create another one. I can just use the turn green because it's basically the same, because we're all using the mouse enter for the interaction. So I can add it here, star dot set attribute, and to add an animation here. So the attribute I want to change is the animation, and you can just like how we wrote the attribute to the animation, you can just use it, and I will just like copy paste here because I'm like a little bit lazy here. And it will work. And you should like just to delete this animation so it will work. Yeah, still don't know why why I can move the cursor, because I tried it last time, but it works. But yeah, to show you again. So if you follow along with me, it will be like this. You will see a cars with the backside, and when you hover on the button, the button will turn green, and the car will turn to the front side. And when you hover out, you will see the button back to red. And yeah, and that's all. Yeah, so glad I can do it in 1 hour. Right. And that's all. And do you have any questions? Thanks, Sam. Thank you for organizing this.
Of course. Did you end up recording it?
I think so. Yeah, I do. I do.
I also dropped the resources in the Discord.
Ah, nice.
So they are there as well, like the link to the Google Drive
Mm-hmm.
and the GitHub as well.
Ah, nice. Yeah. Um, feel free to like to just use this GitHub page, and if you have any idea about like other A-frame experimentation, because in A-frame there are more and more things to come. Like I remember they have like 1.2.0, and now they have what is the block? Now they have like web AR module here, so you can use like hit wall. Oh no, it's 1.1.0, and you can they also support like Quest 2, so it's like a really convenient tool for web AR VR prototyping. And you can also check out some works other people did for showcase. Yeah, I talk too much. Do you guys have any questions, feedbacks, or yeah, or just some general chat?
Are you in New York?
I am. I wait. I was in. I was at the floor
No,
like
you were
last
on
or last.
floor, but I wasn't sure if like you were here because you're not here.
Uh I would just because I have some works to do today, so I can go to floor.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. Any other questions?
No.
Cool.
Cool. So yeah, that's all, and you're free to go, and yeah, and you're also free to stay if you want to chat with me. And yeah, thank you so much. Ah, for I think it's mine or mine. Yeah, mine. So does it matter if you wrote into the body or outside? I think it's just better to wrote. I think it's just better to write in the body because it's just basically the um what is called the whole construction for HTML development. I just kind of like to write it in it, but I haven't tested it out. Maybe just try it. Ah, wait a minute. Why I have two? No, I didn't write it in body, but I have another a thing. Hmm. So it works. As you can see, it works if it was written outside of body. Oh, now it works. So, but maybe it is the problem. Yeah. And yeah, let me just turn off the recording.